What is happening, everybody? I hope you've had a good,
back in like 2005, something like that.
I think my first con was so good. It's Friday Junior.
It's Friday Junior, it's podcast day, it's payday.
And if you come out, do it like doesn't matter how you feel about the situation.
My name is Raph. We're always start the podcast because we just want to talk about it. We want to talk about music and just share those stories and experience. This is my co-host Carl, aka the Beer Buddy. He is hailing you.
This sort of weird era where they're sort of right in that post-grunge.
Look, you're fighting the good fight in today's world. My war was fought 40 years ago, really.
We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here. Hey, I'm too quick on that air horn button, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it. Your second of it, dude. Fantastic.
What is happening, everybody? How you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. I'm actually probably a bit lit.
A little bit lit. Well, at least one of us is drinking.
Dude, I went down. So yeah, I bought these things. It's like a local brewery around the corner from my house, and I love me a double IPA. So it's like a 7-8%, like 7.7%.
Yeah.
But they're so easy to drink, and it's like I could polish off a case of these, and that's a fucking problem because that's like 48 beers. Because they're 2.2 standard drinks, and they're very strong.
Yeah, mate. You will definitely be nobody's Dezo.
No, God, no. I'm surprised I'm driving this. No.
Well,
yeah.
On that note, as we mentioned the other week, we are looking at options for setting up a Patreon and offering more content for you guys. So do keep an eye out for that. That stuff is still coming. We're still sort of working out exactly what we're going to do on that front.
There's talks about a movie night.
There's talks about a movie night.
Drip that out there. See if we can get a response.
We'll have like once a month get together, everyone on stream, watch like a movie that's ties into the music business somehow, or like about music some way, and or even just movies with particularly cool soundtracks. But we're gonna watch them on stream together, something like that. We'll see how we go. That's something that we're looking at. If that's something you'd be keen on, but if you've got ideas of the type of content you might be interested in, that might encourage you to subscribe to a Patreon, definitely let us know down in the comments. We're probably gonna have just one tier that's just like a real small amount. So if you want to
just to get a gauge,
$dollars every month or something, that's cool. And then maybe one that's a bit higher that's got some extra content there. But just sort of hashing out how that's all going to work. But do keep an eye out for that coming up soon. Well, I say soon. How long's a piece of string? How long soon?
How long we got?
But look, we're rolling along. This year's been going really well for us so far. We've had some great interviews. And we're trying to line up some really cool ones going forward as well. If we keep up the current pace, we will have our 100th podcast episode this year, which we're kind of excited about. But look, let's dive in now. Last week, those of you that watched last week will know that we spent a good bit of time speaking with Brooke from Frozen Eddie, and that was so much fun. We've got her back again this week to talk about her other band, Acid Cherry. Thank you very much for joining us again. Very much appreciate you taking another bit of time to talk to us once more.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
No,
it's really good to be here.
It is two completely different bands.
It is. And look, we could talk about music, I think, for a very long time. All of us together, so there's no harm in getting you back again to talk about your other project, because we did talk, as we said, mainly about Frozen Eddie last week. But as Carl said, Acid Cherry is a completely different beast. Acid Cherry is a force of nature unto itself, and especially with, and I have to say, the new lineup, the changes that have taken place to the lineup. Like, I caught you guys at Greaser Bar the other week, and it was a hell of a show. The new blood absolutely has reinvigorated everyone's excitement for it, I think. They are, I can tell the newbies are very, very excited to be a part of it, and I feel like you've got more fun and energy um, with the current lineup. How's that been going? How's that come about? What can you tell us about the new members? Yeah,
Jesus
what's happening?
Christ, look at your numbers on Spotify. Oh, we're going to talk about that after getting to Raf's question.
Mm.
It's been so fantastic. I feel like with Acid, it just kind of hit a bit of a stump. Again, there was like no animosity. Like, we adore Joey. She's a very talented musician, and we do wish her the best on her musical endeavors. It was just getting, I think, creative differences mainly was becoming the biggest issue. People wanting to go on different paths from, some of the other members of the band. And that happens. And that's, sometimes it's unavoidable. And there really isn't anything you can do about that if, people's tastes shift and change and their desires can change, or, what they're striving for. So um, it was very sad to watch Joey go because, she was there from the very beginning with me with Acid. Um, but it definitely needed to happen for us to keep driving forward and to keep just that passion pumping for it. Um, and the new additions are great. Like, we've got Stanza from previously known as Lunchtime, now Call the Morning. Um, so she's joined forces with us on guitar with Zoe, and that's just been so fun. It's really filled out the sound, which is what I've always wanted, because Acid Cherry was always a 5-piece band. We started as a 5-piece band and kind of went as a 4-piece because it was a bit easier at the time. And I was like, no, like, I need to see my vision through. We're doing the 5-piece. We're bumping up that sound. Um, and then we've got Sin. Jacinta has joined as well, and they are just fantastic. Very chill, very keen to be up on stage and just playing their bass. So I'm super ecstatic with the lineup, and it has really, as you said, Daniel, it's really freshened things back up again. Like, we've just got that new drive ready to go. So that's been good.
Well, I've
That's
got to
good.
say, the new song Nosebleed, I mean, what a kick in the face.
Yes,
straight off from
nosebleed.
straight off the bat from the opening line. What is it? It's I don't know how a man's mind thinks.
Yeah, I could never comprehend the workings of a man. Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one. I'm just like, yeah, neither can I.
It's a mystery to me too.
Neither can we.
Some people just, I can't follow their logic about anything. You
Yeah.
know.
No, no, but yeah, like it just. I'm gonna bring it like your numbers. I love numbers on Spotify. Like, I know it's not a good gauge, but it's the only gauge we have in this day and age.
Yeah.
But y'all have probably accumulated close to like 100,000 streams. You got 2,233 active listeners monthly.
That's
That
Yeah,
very
is
I know it's
respectable numbers.
banging. That is like for a local Queensland act. That is banging.
yeah, it went crazy, and honestly, there's no pinpoint as to how it happened or what
Sorry.
happened. Just randomly out of nowhere, the US found Snakes and Ants popping up in Spotify radio, like just their recommended playlist out of nowhere. Um, and just the US has just been eating up that song.
Well, your biggest
And
song at the
then,
moment on there is Snakes and Ants and Prisoner.
yeah,
Prisoner.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah. So it just kind of happened out of nowhere, and it was, yeah, it's been
Wow.
insane and honestly speechless. Like, it's
That's
just one
great.
of those things you wake up, yeah, you wake up overnight and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
Well, I mean, this is something that again we talk a lot about the like the new metal sort of revival that's happening across the music scene, and I mean grunge inspired stuff has really been back as well. People are,
yeah,
as much as new metal is often the world is fucked and I'm angry about it. There's also a massive amount of, I think, I don't want to say apathy necessarily, but like a lot of people are just like, the world's fucked. and I just kind of like there's nothing I can do about it, so I just am gonna
Yeah.
kind of wallow in it, I guess, or like finding comfort in just accepting, I guess, or being. You can still be mad about it, but you're just kind of like this fucking sucks, and I just all I want to think about is how much it sucks.
It's
Mm.
finding
And
peace within the madness, man.
yeah, and you know, like look from the first time that I heard Acid Cherry, I'm like, this is really captured the essence of grunge, you know, and
Well,
what's
you even
happening.
sort of
And,
sloping, like you even sort of dip into that sludge sort of stoner vibe. Believe me, I'd know.
mm. But
Yeah.
like it's and that's just something that I think has really continued. And I remember when you know when we first had you on the podcast way back when in you know the first it was, I think you were even one of the first people that we had on
Yeah.
way back in the early days. You know, you were telling us about like the origins behind the band and wanting to you know strictly wanting to do like this all girl project to prove that you know like women can do heavy shit too and it's I mean I you know you're absolutely fulfilling that mission I think and the like
100%.
the new lineup I agree with you that two guitars is the right move for the band having seen a couple of different iterations as well you know I think that two guitars definitely suits the sound
Yeah.
and really enables the songs to be at their full potential.
Mm.
Mm.
You know, not that you need my approval about that or anything, obviously, but I'm just so like you know to pay it a compliment.
Mm.
The you know and yeah, like it's clear to me that the new members are all very talented in their own right, and I think that the the energy that they everyone brings and the combination that you guys are going to be able to put forward is something that is only going to get better. It's already great. It's already great, and I think it's only going to get better. And much like with
Thank
Frozen
you.
80, you know, I think this is kind of getting to a point with Acid Cherry where you guys are kind of like clicking into the core, what the core sound and what's going to be like the core of it all going forward. Um, and like I'm super excited to see what you guys are doing next because like I said, it's just something that I like seeing people quote unquote stick it to the man, and
Yeah.
more so when it's someone that's coming at it with a point to prove and very um very much proving the point. You know,
Well,
um,
proving the point even goes furthermore into the lyrics of the song, and it's like, oh, what the fuck is going on with your band?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. It's a bit petty, but you know what? Like,
look, you know what? So is no, I'm gonna bring it up again. So is Taylor Swift when she brings out her album after she breaks up with someone.
yeah.
fight can be a powerful
Yeah.
motivator. Just ask Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
Just ask Dave Mustaine.
Oh.
Like, I'm sorry, the guy
Hey,
has sold.
dude, his tracks were pretty good.
The guy writes awesome metal songs. He has sold, you know, probably near 20 million albums globally across his career, and he still harbors resentment because
I thought you were gonna say
not
Clint.
Metallica. No, what are you?
Well, after that song he just brought out.
What are you? Sorry,
Well,
I'm lost. What are
no,
you
the
talking?
Clint. Well, I'd rather the whole Clint thing oh, oh, sorry, Burton,
Oh, Cliff Burton.
Cliff Burton. Wrong person. When he did the whole thing like, "Fuck you, Fear Factory."
No, you mean not Cliff Burton.
Burton,
I mean Burton C. Bell. Sorry, right?
Burton C.
Yes.
Bell.
It's
Yes,
because I was talking about Metallica, and then we are
yeah.
like, so
No, no,
no,
I
no,
just
but no. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you look at spite is a very very powerful motivator, and I think that the music industry is full of stories of people who you know got
I
kicked out
bet
of the
you
band
think this
over a
song
number of
is
differences.
about you, darling.
Well, fucking Motorhead. Motorhead is a perfect example, right? Like Lemmy, you got kicked out of his band because he wanted to go a different way to those guys. He enjoyed different types of drugs to what they did. They were more on psychedelics. He was more on cocaine and whiskey. Um, and they just had too many disagreements, so they kicked him out, basically left him stranded on the side of the road.
Just different levels.
And he no, but he's like, fuck you guys, I'm going to make the heaviest band of all time.
And
And for the time,
he fucking did.
they were Motorhead was some of the heaviest shit around. And just look at the impact that man was able to have. And obviously later in his
Mm-hmm.
career, I'm sure it wasn't necessarily driven by spite later in his career. But the point is, it can bring you to places that allow you to, and look, a lot heavy metal, grunge, a lot of these alternative genres, spite is a key factor. Anger is the core of what a lot of it's about. Um,
Is it a bit
Yeah.
like a bit like a fuck you? I won't do what you tell me.
yeah, a little bit. It's so I
Very
love
good.
that. I don't think there's anything wrong with, like I say, like we probably had this discussion at the time when we spoke about it last time, right? Like acknowledging that you set out on a mission with Acid Cherry, and it's not to say that Acid Cherry exists solely in relation to this other band. It's definitely like obviously
Even if it
it's
does
its own thing,
100,000 streams over the
but
last like what 3 or 4 years, yeah, that's a win.
that's really those are really good numbers. They are, and it's great to see the passion that I feel like it's renewed a passion in you for the band,
Mm.
like because I think we've
Yeah, it
spoken
really
about
did.
it in the
It's
past.
incredibly rewarding, like, especially when you have been beaten down so much and told so many times by so many different people, ex-partners, parental figures, things like that, like being told that it's something stupid or unreachable, and then crushing numbers like that is just so satisfying. And it's not even a sense of like, oh, it's satisfying because fuck you, like I can do it, which is part of it. But like, it's also satisfying in a sense where like it's it's a form, it's self-satisfying. Like it rejuvenates the belief you have in yourself to be able to do these things. And like, yeah, it's just super super rewarding.
Well, not just that. It just settles down the naysayers because I mean you got like Red Hook, Crave, Temptress, Acid Cherry, Frozen Eddie. Like it just all goes hand in hand. It's like there's so, and we hate saying it now because women have been a part of metal for so long. It just shouldn't even be a thing. Like we don't say it no more. It's not a female fronted band. It's just
It's
they're the
yeah,
singer.
good band. That's it.
Band,
By
yeah.
any
Like
standard, it's a
they,
good band on its
it,
own
it, it just shouldn't be a thing. And we got checked on that. We fully got checked on that, and we appreciate it.
merit.
And
Well,
Yeah.
you look at like rock music and metal music, and obviously there's a large consensus that okay, well, Black Sabbath originated it, but there is also a school of thought that I believe I can't remember exactly what they were called, but there was a band that was around a few years prior to Sabbath that had a that was doing like satanic and occult inspired music that was fronted by a woman, and and there is even the claim that she invented or was the first to use like the not like the created the like devil horns thing, but was the first to use it in association with alternative music. um so
Nice.
anytime the argument wants to come around of like you say, like people saying, oh, it's 2024, like we don't need to say like female fronted bands or anything. And as much as it is nice to see lineups like the one at Greaser Bar the other week where the representation was off the charts, right? Like that
Yeah.
was on stage and in the crowd. I felt like that was one of the most diverse shows I've ever been to. Um,
Yeah.
the like all there was the audience was so diverse along, you know, like racial lines, gender lines, and everyone just was having a good time. And you know, I think part of the
Mhm.
reason that the crowd was so diverse was because of the lineup of bands that were on that were performing. You know,
Yeah,
but it's great to see that. It was amazing to see that. Like
100%. Yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it?
to be at a gig where, you know, and it's I realize that as a cis het white male that I am often considered to be the norm or the default in a lot of things, and I hate that that's the way it's viewed a lot of the time because it shouldn't be. It's not like normal where everything else is different or abnormal. It's just like that's what most people consider society to be built around because you know
Hmm.
unfortunately we've had the floor for a very long time
Brother, if
and
we're considered
Hmm.
normal, society's got a big fucking problem.
but like to be at a show where it was like I wasn't, you know, like I was looking around and I'm like, cool, like there's so many different people here. It's not like I'm not
Yeah,
just going around and seeing, you know, 100 different me's standing around, like whatever. And
yeah.
You
what
almost
I've
feel like an NPC when that happens.
well, what I feel was really interesting as well was again the passion that the crowd had for the bands. You know, like everyone, like bands would be setting up, and that room would be like full to the point that you couldn't even get in. Like
Yeah.
it was packed.
Yeah, that was like when Jack, like, because we got him on stage to come sing Snakes and Ants with us because I'm so fucking over that song. We've been playing that song for 3 years, but we are forever tied to it because it's our most streamed song. Anyway, I was like, fuck this. I don't want to sing this tonight. Jack wanted to get up and do some stuff, so he got up to sing the song, but he was saying to me after the show the trek to try and get up on the stage was almost impossible because he
Yeah,
didn't want to like be pushing through people, but it was just like so packed out in all the spaces and it was very very packed.
yeah, like it's great, and like that was like I've not been to Greece prior to that or since, so I don't know how that compares to any other night there. Um,
Oh, it was like it does tend to get pretty full in Greaser, but that's the most packed I've personally ever seen Greaser. It was
That's all
insane.
that
Even I
matters.
was looking around like, this is weird.
mm. But I
It was
love
great.
the fact, like I love that on any given night, you know, out of the several venues that put on rock and alternative music in, you know, in and around the valley, on any given weekend there will be, you know, there'll be representation from a lot of different camps at these shows. You know, there'll be uh, it's just something that has been lacking for a long time, and to see it finally being embraced in a way that it should have been all along. Um, it makes me so happy as a fan because that's how it continues. You know, that's how the industry moves forward. And I'm not saying that we need to push for tokenism or we need to say, all right, well we need, you know, this lineup's a sausage fest. We need to get some women on the bill. But like people need to just go, hey, what bands are moving the needle? Let's put those bands on. And I'm really glad and it makes me so happy that there is real change seems to be coming about after a long time.
Well, I guess that's the great
Mm,
thing about social media and Spotify and stuff like that now.
mm.
Unfortunately, as it may be with these old heads that still run these places, they may look at a band like Acid Cherry and go, "Oh, bunch of I don't like saying this. I don't want to say it, but this is how they may think. Oh, it's a bunch of chicks, whatever." But then you present them with those numbers,
Mm.
and then they're like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get them to play. Look at those numbers. That's money."
Yeah,
No, but
yeah.
it
That's like even that
it breaks that barrier automatically down because then it's like there's there's tangible. You look at it
hmm
and then you go nah, but then you go there's money, there's a
yeah,
crowd,
yeah,
and it
100%.
breaks down that barrier straight away because you got the numbers there, and it's
Mm.
so good to see. It's so good to see.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. It's been really good, and seeing that change and that like love for, more diverse culture is just it is really fantastic to see growing here.
Well, that's the thing. It's really weird that it has to be called diverse. It's just like people
Mm.
making good music.
Yeah.
I guess that's the worst. Like, because at the end of the day, that's all it is. People just making good music. Like
Mm.
Mm,
we like just
I
women have
think
been doing it for such a long time. Just because they're doing it in heavy metal now,
well, they've always been doing it in heavy metal.
I
That's the thing.
know, and that's the
Like
worst part about it. Like,
I yeah, the fact I think for me when I talk about diversity in that way, it's always from a place of, you know, just like it's always from a positive place in that
mm,
regard, like of,
mm, yeah.
getting
but
people
I
that
mean,
have
you look at it
been
now.
people that have been doing it and that would be doing it regardless, right? Like I'm sure that as, disheartening as it might be, I'm sure that if, maybe those numbers weren't so great and Acid Cherry was still copying, a bit of the, oh, just a bunch, it's just a girl band, whatever, you'd still be out there doing it because you love it and
Mm,
you want to do that and you want to make that music with those people and have fun doing it, right?
yeah.
The fact that it's lowering these barriers and that people are just not dismissing Acid Cherry as, a girl. But like
It's
we had
like the
Viper
kiddie
Snatch on,
effect.
when we had Viper Snatch on, they were amazing, amazing people, crew from Viper Snatch as well, that we've spoken to a couple of times now. They were saying they've had people, refuse to play after them, or sorry, before them. People. There's
Like
been old.
we're not opening for these
Yeah,
chicks.
we're not opening for these. We're not opening for these chicks. We're not opening for this band of girls. Like, and the fact that anyone can still have that attitude in 2024 is just
Mate,
get
honestly,
out of the business.
if I was if I was running that show, I would have been like, guess who's getting a DJ set during the time that they were allowed to play?
Mm,
Like, get the fuck out of my fucking venue.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
get the
honestly,
fuck out.
if I caught that slack, I would just be like, no worries, mate. Like, if
And
if
then
you want
just
to go
give
on
it
after me, be my guest, go on after me.
good luck.
You have that confidence, babe. Like,
Yeah.
Good luck.
you've
That's it.
just now
And then you know what
lit
I'd
a
do?
fire in me.
I'd walk up on stage and just between every set, just go, let's see these fuckers follow up this because they didn't want to play after us. Let's see these fuckers
That's it.
follow
Yeah.
up. Oh, just
That's it.
hammer them.
Any time that discussion comes up, like I think that's the key thing is anytime you've got a band that's like, no, we wants to make a fuss about, you know, where they are on the lineup, right? The best response is always, you want to play after us? Fine. Follow
Hmm.
this.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. Like, I'm not intimidated by that whatsoever. If anything, you've just given me a little bit more of a drive for this show in particular. You've
Well,
lit this fire in me. I'm ready to go.
that's
Like,
energy. That's energy. I'm just gonna take that energy.
yeah, I'm just gonna. That's mine now.
Well, how do you find the crossover with Acid Cherry and Frozen Eddie with
I
the
find
response? I mean, look, on
like
obviously
with the response
they're
from
like
like
they're two completely different bands. They'd obviously to sit and like I can't imagine Frozen Eddie and Acid Cherry playing at the same show.
no, and they never will.
No. So
Yeah.
how does the response go from say an acid after an Acid Cherry set compared to a Frozen Eddie set?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's too different. I'm gonna be completely honest and say generally because I don't drink anymore and I'm not really within like the I don't handle well in like valley culture. So after shows I tend to go hide and I'll go and speak to like people that want to speak to me and then I like decompress and go. Unless there's a band like, I want to go, I want to support or something like that. But yeah, the reception isn't really too different, honestly. I feel like it's quite similar in a way where I still get people come up to me after Frozen Eddie's set being like, I love what you're doing, like, I love that you're dominating a male dominated, genre of the music scene and just doing your thing unapologetically, and it's really nice, and it's really nice to get that similar reception from both bands regardless. So um yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's
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 awesome.
awesome.
pretty similar.
Like, I
That's
think
heaps good.
the thing as well, like, I mean, yeah, like, look, having seen, your work with both bands, obviously you are bringing, you know, like,
Oh,
you're
this
someone that has the chops to do a bunch of different things,
and the screams in
you
Frozen
know,
Eddie just
like,
raw.
you can do very, like, sort of all across the rock and alternative spectrum, and I have no doubt if you were to turn your efforts to other genres that were outside of those as well, that you'd be able to do really well with those too. Um, do you like do you look at the women in Australian rock that have come before you and sort of paved the way? So we're talking bands like, you know, Spiderbait, Killing Heidi, this kind of stuff. Like, do you look at the ground that they've covered and think, all right, we're gonna like kind of take those roads and try and go from there, or do you just go, we want to just forge our own version of that, our own path, and blaze the trail for someone else to come later?
Yeah. Um, that's a really good question. It's definitely more on the end of forge our own path.
Mm.
Just because we try to not like, as much as it's, very marketable and like the whole reason Acid Cherry started in the first place, we still try not to be like follow the footsteps of other iconic women in the industry. Um, it's really easy, I feel like, to, especially as a woman in this industry with what I've gone through, it's really easy to attach to that because it's comfortable, and it's like, we're similar people, so therefore it feels comfortable to kind of follow those footsteps in a way. But with Acid, I've really tried to pull myself back and be like, I need this to make this like our own thing, like regardless of our gender identity or anything like that. Like, this is just Acid Cherry, you know, we're not following any kind of like,
There's no rule
I'm
book.
trying to find the right word. Is we're not like following.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean though. Like,
Yeah, it's really hard to word. Like, it's more
yeah,
of an ideology rather than
and,
something that's super easy
yeah,
to explain.
and
But
yeah, and look, the thing is, and obviously, like, I'm not sort of trying to come at this from a place of like, oh, they had a girl in the band and you got a girl band, so it's the
yeah,
same
no, of
thing.
course.
It's very
Yeah.
much like, I think that those, specifically those bands I mentioned, and even if you want a more recent example, a band like Red Hook, they're out there going like, we're not leaning on the fact that we have a woman in the band. Like, we're not.
Yeah,
We're,
exactly.
It's just
we're
good fucking
they're
music.
just making good music. They're not leaning on that. I think, ironically enough, I think all of the best bands that have all the best rock and metal bands that have had women in them don't lean on that fact.
No, they're just
Mm.
fucking
They
good.
just
Like Arch
get out
Enemy.
there and make great
Like they're
music. Yeah,
just
Arch Enemy.
fucking good.
Um,
Like
you
even
know,
as much as it pains me to say it whole, they were pretty fucking good.
yep.
Mm.
Mentioned them like in this moment. You have even OTEP, who is, individual views on certain things aside, has done an incredible job making a name for herself just off the back of the music alone. Um, you know,
Vada.
yep, you got Ginger out there doing stuff, and I think that while it's interesting to see the way that different people are able to engage with different aspects of their identities and their interests and culture through these things. Like, you'll have people that are out there just
Mm.
going, I make badass music, and I happen to be a woman,
Yeah.
or I happen to be AFAB. Um, then you'll have people that are out there, and this isn't a critique of those people, but you'll have people that are out there, someone like Scene Queen, who's out there very much putting a lot of her femininity into the music as part of what she's doing there. And I don't think that's to say, like, oh my god, look at me doing metal, blah blah blah. But she's doing it with the intent of like,
Oh,
it's
she
going
put a lot of
to
people on the
piss
fucking
people off.
blast, but she
Yeah,
she
exactly.
she
Mm.
uses her fucking platform well.
Like, yeah, and she's out there doing it because it's like, yeah, if metal and alternative music is rebellion, how can I? But it's been a thing for 50 years now. How can I, or more than 50 years, 60 years almost, how can I rebel from that? And
We kick in the
Mm.
gate.
the way you do that is you go, all right, I'm gonna put girly pop into metal. Or you do what Bro Job's doing, and you go, I'm gonna write death metal about like being gay and about liking, you know, dick and balls and
What are
the
you gonna
color.
do with that? You
Love
do what
that.
that Aussie. You do what that Aussie guy did that we spoke about last week,
Yeah,
and you
yeah, you
dress up
do
like
what
you.
do what Lady
Man,
Beard does, do all that. Like,
yeah, like the
how do you
whole.
rebel against rebellion? You go,
You
all right,
pissed off the fucking gatekeepers, and you kick in the fucking gate.
you go, all right,
Yeah.
what are all the things that have traditionally been considered like lame or weak or not cool? All right, now how can I mix that with metal? How can I take that and put that into metal?
Mm.
To be
It's
fair,
like,
Hmm.
even if I disagreed with Ladybeard, I'm not arguing with Ladybeard. Not arguing. No,
not
no.
at all.
You do you, boo.
So obviously, we talked last time, you mentioned Frozen Eddie was like working on a lot of songs and sort of dialing in the live show there. What's happening with the Acid Cherry camp? Are you guys doing a lot of writing in similarly to that, or are you trying to get out there with um, live shows and get some sort of some more get some miles under the belt with the new lineup? Like, what's kind of the goings on in that regard?
Yeah, with Acid, it's honestly so crazy right now. Like, it's a bit of everything going on. Like, we recently onboarded Keely, who is our creative director. So we've got this new member of our band basically who is scheduling us for um, posting creative content, things like that.
Mhm.
So we're doing a lot of working on a lot of our online presence in that aspect and just
You have a
trying to build that,
promoter.
promoting, yeah, TikTok, all of the socials, the visual aspect of things. And then, yeah, we've also been writing a lot late last year, early into this year, and trying to get back in the studio this year as well to release something. um, and we also have gigs coming up. So it's just not our own gigs. So we're trying to just do supports at the moment um, until we can get kind of some of this new stuff out. We're not trying to do too many headline shows. We're really trying to save it and harbor it like we did last year, how we just had that one headline show and it was really exciting and we had the pillow fighting and the teddy bears on stage and stuff like that. So we're really like holding on to that headline show for those releases. Um, but honestly, yeah, insane. Just everything.
Has there ever
Literally
been
balls to
the
the wall.
thought with those sort of numbers to try and take it interstate?
Mm,
Because
that's in the works. Would love
like
to go.
yeah, it's not often we see like local bands with those sort of numbers.
Yeah,
Mm,
Like
I
like in all
yeah,
like Snakes and Ants, 32,325 streams.
yeah.
yeah.
And then straight after that, you got Prisoner, which is 27,499 streams. So just on those two alone,
Yeah.
you've hit like half a
I,
hundred
I
thousand.
I think it'd
That's
be really big, like
Yeah.
much like with when we
take
said
the
last
show on
week,
the
like,
road.
Frozen Eddie would do really really well in Sydney. I think Acid Cherry would go great in Sydney and probably in Melbourne. I think Melbourne would be a really big one
Mm.
for Acid Cherry. I think there's a lot of appeal there. I did see on your page a few days ago, you guys have announced that you are supporting Vilify on their Brisbane show
Yes.
in, well, by the time this comes out, let me see where that's going to land because, oh my goodness, okay, so this episode is actually going to be coming out on the 9th of May. So
Oh, there you go.
On the day.
if you're seeing the
We're
episode,
playing
if you're
tonight.
watching this episode, it's probably a little bit late to get to the show,
No,
but
Brooke should just say, watch the show.
go and go and
Yeah.
yeah, follow Acid Cherry on all the socials so you can be on top of when shows are coming
And
out.
watch
because-
this episode.
Yes, because it's a great show. It really, really is. It's a very, very enjoyable live show, especially like I said with the new lineup. It's bringing a new energy and excitement to everything. The material that you guys have been working on, writing wise and coming up with, you said last week that Frozen Eddie is sort of a lot more storytelling in terms of your songwriting and things like that because Acid Cherry is a lot more personal to you. What can you tell us about the songs that have been getting written for Acid Cherry lately and, what those are about, what those might mean to you?
Oh, they're so angry.
Love
They're
it.
so fucking angry. Like these songs were written, some of them were written last year. It's a bit more early this year, but like for an example, one of them that will probably be the next to be released is called Pretty Equals Dead. And we wrote that after all of that news came out about the Roe v. Wade abortion, laws and banning
Mhm.
all started coming out. And it really pissed us off. So we wrote just a song about how, about that basically just being a sex object, a baby machine. Like, we just got really fucking pissed off. So that's just essentially there's four in the works, and they're all very angry and very passionate, based off of particular things that have kind of happened throughout the year and unfold throughout the year. So that's what is to be expected. Like,
Mm.
just,
Good,
just pure fucking rage.
good. I'm excited. I'm
Lots
very,
more
very keen.
screaming, lots more guitar solos coming from Zoe as well, which is really exciting.
Cool.
Because I don't think she's done one of those since Wear My Flesh. So, like, literally, yeah, much more guitar solos, more screaming, different types of screaming. Yeah, just and Nick's introduced the double kick as well. So just lots going on.
I love that. I love her. It's just like, okay, we know what we are, and now we're just building, and all these things are just coming on top, and it's just going to grow from there.
Yeah,
Because look, it's
yeah.
it's very unapologetic, and hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and
Mm.
you have the complete right to hammer on.
Like making a statement.
Yeah, 100%. Because like
Yeah.
this whole boys club shit's got to end. Like it's you know what my only thing is with Kitty, like and we joke about it, it's like Kitty. If you brought Kitty out, that first album out now, it would be so well received. It would just so much better, and
Yeah.
it annoys the shit out of me.
I agree.
It annoys the shit out
Yeah,
of me
for real.
because they're a fucking great band.
Fantastic album too. Love that album
Yeah,
so much.
and it's just
And
no continue.
yeah, and that's what Acid's always been about as well. Like, just we want to keep true to why we were so passionate to do this. And it's not like we're trying to, influence people or anything. Everyone can have their own opinions and thoughts and feelings that, things that make them upset. But I feel like that's been our biggest connection with the people listening, is because we are very unapologetic that way and very open. We've always been very open about our emotions and traumas, just to kind of be like, how there's a whole thing where, oh, chicks are too emotional, you guys show too many emotions, you're too full on, blah blah blah. And we've kind of taken that and been like, okay, cry about it. Like, I'm I'm
Oh
going
my
to be
God.
as
If you're a
emotional,
metalhead,
as so
it's
openly
the
emotional
most
as possible.
emotional shit you've ever fucking heard in your life. All
Exactly.
heavy
Like
metal
it's just
is emotion. Oh my god, like my lord.
yeah. God forbid, oh my God, we show emotions as humans. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
But yeah, and we just really play on that. And every time we write something, it's always just to be as honest as possible to the people listening. Like, this is just who we are and how I feel, and
Mm,
I'm not gonna shut up about it. And this is my music, so
precisely. And I mean, look,
have a cry.
We'll
I'll
just
throw
skip
back to
on.
I'll throw back to a guest that we had on, a few weeks ago. A friend of mine for many many years, Jonathan Devoy, and we discussed it on the podcast. A piece of advice that he gave me about songwriting a long time ago was that all you need for a good song is three chords and the truth. And I
Love
think
that.
that that is a piece of songwriting advice that has stuck with me ever since I heard it, because it seems so simple, but it at the same time it is the kind of thing where if you embrace that mentality in songwriting, it will get you a long way, because that will
Yeah.
connect with people. And you know, as you said, like, you guys being very honest about what you care about, that connects with people. There's some bands, I've worked with people in bands and they're afraid to, they don't want to cover things that are, I guess, real like that, because they're like, oh no, people don't care about my problems, it's like bigger problems and whatever. And it's like, no, but like, you're a human. Having emotions is human. Having feelings and
Mm.
thoughts on things is human. Having an opinion on things is human. And you know, you guys, Acid Cherry freely expressing that in the music and embracing that side of who you are as people and musicians, I think is probably no small part of the success that the music has had to date.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the
It's
reasons
good
why
fucking
I can
music.
say, like, I have said from the start, like from
You
the
did.
first time I
You
was
did.
hearing you guys, the first time I saw you guys live, is like, I genuinely believe that with, I'm not going to say with dedication, because you guys clearly have dedication to it that doesn't need to be, put in here, but that, with a few lucky breaks, because unfortunately that's what we need these days, is a few lucky breaks if we're going to make it anywhere. But with a few lucky breaks, I
Yeah.
genuinely believe that Acid Cherry could become one of those bands that that makes it as much as we can in Australia in the business, and to go that in, like, I genuinely, like I said, I can completely and realistically foresee a stage in 20 years time or whatever, where people are talking about, you know the paths that Acid Cherry laid down, for the people that came after doing that.
Oh, I really appreciate that.
I think the
And
smartest thing they've done was get that. What did you say? They use social media manager or whatever it is.
mm,
Our
Like
creative director. Yeah.
your creative director. Look, that you guys
it
live in
sucks that bands
Queensland.
have to do that these days, but
No, but at the end of the
it's the kind of thing
day,
that you have to do.
and this is why I try and sell it. If you you can't get around to the rest of the world, so make content that'll get yourself around to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And that's where it's got to be
Exactly.
at. Like there's, and this is when I talk about Raf. There's no fucking excuse anymore. If you got a phone and you got something decent, you can make something that will put yourself out there to the rest of the world, and you will get. This is how flat earthers fucking communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. With the right with the
Yeah,
right
and that's
with the
With the
right
right content,
attitude, any idea can go global, including flat Earth.
oh, honestly, like that's what she drilled into us. She was like, we weren't very active on TikTok because we all fucking hate posting to TikTok, and she was like, no, do it, just anything, literally anything you can get, any sort of footage you can get, even if you think it's dumb, just fucking post it on there and be super active on there because that's like your biggest platform right now, right? And so we were doing that, and this one video we got of our guitarist Zoe playing Everlong on the drums really bad, as a joke. Posted it, 4.5 million views, fucking 700,000 likes,
Mm.
thousands of comments, and it was like, she's fucking right. Like,
Yeah.
it's so stupid how little effort that video took, but it's just the fact that we were just like, boom, 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 boom,
And
Viper
chucking
Snatch,
whatever
we
the
had
fuck
this
out.
chat with Viper Snatch. They posted something out of a McDonald's,
yeah,
2.5 million likes. You know, the only thing they didn't do,
they
they
didn't
didn't
put their
put
music.
they didn't put their music over the video. They
But
put
Mm,
someone
yeah,
else's music over the
but
video.
it's crazy because it's always the low effort one that you think isn't gonna do anything that goes crazy. Like,
it's so stupid.
It
but
is, but you know
Crazy
what?
how it works.
And this is no offense to anyone that's watching. People are stupid.
Oh yeah, as I said, screens in front of our faces all the time. Like, our reception meter has just dropped to the floor, and that's
Mm.
why she was like, get on TikTok, get on that app where people are just mindlessly scrolling through 30 seconds at a time. Like, she was right. It was
and
so
look,
full on.
you can take if you film, you know, every live show that you have, because this is something else like that I think bands need to be doing these days. Like, there really isn't an excuse to not have a couple of static cameras set up at every single show filming your set. You know, you film that, and then you have, especially if you're playing to a click track. If you're playing to a click track, it's even better
Because
because you
I can
film it
sync it. I
and
can
then you
sync
can
it.
sync it up to the track, right? But even you know, even if you don't do that, like, you film every single show with a couple of static cameras, even if it's literally you just take your phone, put it in a little fucking thing, and film the set, right? And you do that. Different angles at every show, and you literally just have a back catalog of live footage, and you could take that live footage and you can make you can make 100 clips that are, you know, 15 to 30 seconds long of your various songs, and you can take a couple of different
Hmm.
parts from each song, and you can match different songs to different just random collections of footage that you got there. You can just cut a bunch of different things together, and then boom, you've got 100 videos that you can release. That's low effort content. Once it's there, it's there. You're just cutting it together, and you've got them all, and you just roll them out
Yep.
however and whenever you need, in amongst all the other stuff that you're doing. And as long as you've got like the captions right, and you know all that side of things, you're and you make sure you put your music on there. Unfortunately, it's really weird the way that it works though, because what we found with Skunkbone when we started doing it was because our stuff, because obviously we already had our stuff released when we made the TikTok page and started doing stuff there, was we couldn't put our audio on the video before we uploaded it because it would copyright strike it.
Ah,
So we had to do it. We had to take the video and put it with the audio of our song that was already on TikTok. So like it's a bit weird, and you got to try and do it a specific way
yeah.
to make it work. And whether
Yeah, it
that
was,
means whether that means when you're putting the stuff on DistroKid, you uncheck the box that says TikTok, so that it's not putting the whole songs on TikTok, and it's but it's that was the problem that we ran into with it anyway. But
I
yeah,
mean,
you live clip.
YouTube copyright struck our video clip 10 years ago. It's always been a fucking problem.
yeah, it has actually.
Like, they're a pain in the ass. They are a complete pain in the ass with all that shit.
And the problem is you can't even appeal it. You can't even go like, no, but it's like, check the stuff. It's our song. Like,
We are
because it's
Yeah.
all play
literally the band.
like there's no human intervention involved because it's all
No.
so
I just
it's the amount of people that have to hire for it would put them out of business. So, you can't like say, no, but it's our song. Like, we are the band that released this song. Here's all the receipts. Here's all of our stuff. Like, it's our song. We can use our song, right? Like, how can you tell us we can't do that?
No, it's
Uh,
because
Hello.
someone else recorded. Look, it's because someone else recorded it and
but
all
like,
that fun stuff. And yeah,
like I tried to
it's
put like I tried to take a bit from like one of our Skunkbone film clips and put it on as a TikTok, like from the endoscopy film clip, because it's just us like fucking around having a bunch of fun doing silly shit. And I'm like, that'll do, whatever. But I couldn't like yeah, I had to try and find the part of the clip that synced up to the audio that was already on there, because I couldn't just take the clip with the audio on the clip and put it up,
Mm.
because it was just gonna be like it's sometimes it's impossible to fucking deal with
Hey
these.
man, look,
Mm.
we in that sense as a band, we piss and moan about copyright. But can you imagine if they got rid of those laws?
I'm not saying get rid of the laws. I'm just saying
Oh
these apps
no, just make it
fucking
easier for
system
the
there.
fucking bands to release their own music. Jesus.
Like yeah, or have a direct avenue to the platforms to release your music.
Mm.
You know, that needs to be that I think would make a huge difference. Like if I could create, and I look, I kind of realize why they don't do that, because then, you know, any old fucking Joe Blow could create a Spotify thing, label it Slipknot, upload all the Slipknot songs, and then make, like, you know, have all of these streams before the system picked it up and realized and pulled it away, right?
Make
Like
30
I kind
cents
of
of
understand
his
that,
point
but
0.00005.
like you know, I just feel like there needs to be more direct routes for things, because if we'd been able to go, all right, yep, this is our profile on TikTok, then release the music on TikTok via that, you know, there wouldn't be these
But
issues.
isn't that what DistroKid's for? So you can link all those accounts to that thing,
I
so
don't
it can.
if I don't know if you can link like TikTok accounts to DistroKid though. You can link like a Spotify account and like Instagram, I think, but I don't think all of them can be linked to it that way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Yeah, I
I'm
was
just
gonna
too
say
much of
because
a boomer and I
we,
haven't got that figured out yet. But
yeah, we had like no, I don't think you're wrong because we had a run in like that before where we already had a YouTube channel for Acid Cherry, and then we were uploading our songs and stuff onto Gyro, and it was releasing them on YouTube as well, just under Acid Cherry. So when we tried to upload something on our actual Acid Cherry YouTube page, it was like, "You're not Acid Cherry, that's Acid Cherry," and we were like,
Oh,
yeah,
crazy. And then yeah, we had to do
wow.
go through something. Yeah.
As media people doing it
So
again.
that's ridiculous.
having a moderator, like a human moderator, maybe
Yeah, not an
make things
AI
a bit
one.
easier with copyright.
Oh,
Yeah, like I said,
this
that's
whole
the problem.
thing,
It's just they don't want to. The amount of people that need to hire to make that work would
Oh
be
yeah.
a problem.
mate, they make billions on the dollar. I'm sure paying some intern
Spotify hasn't.
50
Spotify has.
grand a year to
Spotify's
fucking,
barely made a. Spotify barely makes a profit,
bro.
fortunately, and this is what I mean.
On
Like they
on
have.
on paper, on paper, on paper, they don't make a profit, bro. What smart businessman is going to run a business that doesn't make a profit? That is some bullshit.
Because
I'm
they're
going to
trying to
make
play.
myself big on
I'm
this.
no, I'm saying because they
That is
play the
some
long.
bullshit. Ain't nobody running a business that don't make a profit.
Hey,
I run a business that doesn't make a profit. I have a small business. I'm meant to do that for the first 3 to 5 years. How long Spotify been going for?
but that's what I mean. Like this is the point.
I'm meant to
Claim
do that.
they they are at the point. It's just not like how they continue to operate is baffling to me, because they keep. It's like they keep getting investors and people pumping money into it to prop it up on the thing of, you know, but because the whole point is that they want to devalue music to the point of just and have everyone locked in their ecosystem. Like while Spotify is not the only platform out there, they functionally have a monopoly, and they have the largest market share by a massive margin
Uh,
than any of their competitors.
I'm
Functionally,
gonna,
it's a monopoly,
I'm gonna
and
tell you the
they
best way to lie to musicians. I'm putting out your music and I'm not even making money. Isn't
look.
that the best way to lie? Look, hey man, look, I'm putting
I'm
out,
not making this shit up. This is what
I'm
the
putting
fucking
out your
report to
music, and
shareholders.
I'm not even making any money. That is the
This is what they
best
report to the
lie.
shareholders do.
We all don't make
Like
money together,
they won't lie to their share. They don't lie to their shareholders. Businesses
except
don't
for
lie to their share unless you're
except
Enron or whatever. But you know,
except for Taylor Swift and Drake. They're the only people that make money on Spotify.
oh man,
Everyone else gets pennies on the dollar.
I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, I did hear like
Oop,
Oh, you've gone robot.
hang on, your
Spotify,
audio's all
Spotify
funky.
have heard. They're
Yeah, they've
disrupting
heard.
your audio. They've heard everything.
I've gone robot. Oh my
There
No,
we
god!
no,
go.
you're
Wait,
good. You're good now. You're good now.
they found me. No, allegedly, they like only pay lots of money to the artists that have the highest
Mm.
streams on Spotify, like the most plays,
Yes,
and
Well,
then all the
allegedly.
others is just like,
I got something
yeah.
for you, right? I was looking at the Skunkbone numbers the other day. And I was looking at it going, that doesn't look right. Somewhere I was looking at it going, it was saying we had over 1 million streams, but we'd
It's like
only earned
$5.
like the total earnings. This was like lifetime streams. It was like 1 million lifetime streams, and the total lifetime earnings was like $70 odd. Right now, I'm looking at that going, I know the numbers are shit, but I don't think they're that shit. What's going on there?
Yeah.
I dug a little bit deeper. Turns out it was one specific track that I think part of it may be some cross-referenced stuff that's not technically our ones, because the track that had the bulk of those plays, like everything else was like a few thousand maybe, whatever, but this one track was the one over 1 million. It was No Title, and I suspect there's a lot of impressions getting attributed to that are not necessarily that, because of the no title thing. And because look, that no title confuses stuff. And the other problem is, I was looking at it, and it's DistroKid's like, yep, some of a lot of these numbers are coming. Some of these numbers may come from platforms where impressions don't provide revenue. So I think it was from like a particular social media platform that doesn't pay revenue based off plays, in that way. So I think, because like, to give you an example, right? Like No Title, it confuses Google. Like you search out that Skunkbone album on Google's like search on the main page, the No Title track doesn't say no title. It literally just has nothing where the title would be.
Oh.
So
Oh.
I think what's happened there is that has confused the system. Because I looked at it,
Mm.
I'm like, how did I not notice those kind of numbers? Surely if there was numbers there, that'd be like, I would have seen something around that. But
All right, keep going. Go in the bathroom.
all right. But yeah, it was just really, really bizarre that I saw that, and I'm like, where's that coming
Yeah, that is
from? Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like some of these
super weird.
some of the platforms that report this data, there's not even money coming from it. So like,
Mm.
and that's the thing, right? Like if you're using a platform, or if you're using a service and you're not paying for that service, like you're not the customer, you're the product. It's
Yeah,
social
100%.
media is just like, you don't pay to use social media. Well, not with money. It's the old, like horror movie thing. You don't
Very true.
pay with money. Because your
That is so true, though. Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but
like your data,
that's
like
just how it is.
use social media for free because they use our data to sell to us, to run ads to us, and they sell our data to all these other companies. Same
Hmm.
with Spotify, right? Like as musicians, like I can't imagine like the fucking the ballsiness of the move that Spotify and other music streaming services have managed to pull off, of like, you know, we can, if I don't, streaming services are like the biggest fucking scam in history.
You're right.
Like they're
Yes.
like, yeah, we'll put your content in front of people, and the more people will see it, and you'll get paid for it. But like they don't charge, like DistroKid charges because they amalgamate the service,
Mm.
right? But most of these platforms, if you take the effort to try and, because some of them do have direct upload avenues, but they don't, and they don't charge people for it. Like it doesn't
Mm.
cost anyone anything to put their music on Spotify. If you're big enough and you can do it direct with Spotify, it doesn't cost you anything. But us plebs have to use a third party service, which we pay for. But like essentially, Spotify doesn't charge a fee to the musicians for putting their music out there because the musicians and the music is the product.
No,
Yeah.
but then they charge a publisher.
The publisher would charge the band.
Like it's like
or
it's like a
something
$15 a year thing, but
this is what I mean. This is what I mean. DistroKid charges for that service because they amalgamate all of the platforms that they
Yeah.
put it on. Like if you would, for a lot of them, as I was saying, if you were to do it yourself, for the ones that you could approach directly,
oh, you're paying
you,
$15 on.
you usually don't get charged for that if you can do it directly. The reason DistroKid charges is for convenience.
Fair enough.
That's the main thing there, and I've got no problem with that. Like, I think the rate that DistroKid charges is pretty reasonable considering what some services want to charge and what places used to charge.
Yeah.
What's all that? Or you go down the whole path of the Tom Holland thing. We just every single track you bring out has a video clip, and you try and break the YouTube algorithm and work backwards from there.
Yeah, you just got to find, I think, the right approach that works for you. But like I say, yeah,
it's the age of independent artists at the moment, though.
is it?
Ew,
Is it really? Is it really? Look at who's on top of the industry.
yeah, true. I mean, Beyonce did just supposedly get kicked out of the country thing.
You can say that you can say, okay, well, yes, technically Taylor Swift is an independent artist because she's doing it all on her own now. But like, no, she
made her
up
billions
from that place because she was in the industry and had all that she'd made off of those things first. So
let me spell my billions to beat your billions.
It's a very, very different scenario to look at that. It is,
But in saying that though, like if you do have the right people around you and you can get your stuff out there at a productive rate on the social medias and stuff like that, you can establish yourself a cult. And I hate using it now because anything, you know what I mean? The cult.
A small but dedicated fan base.
Yeah. I hate it.
But look, no, it's.
We have a cult following. 3 people.
Hello,
Brooke. Yeah.
Nah, but it's just one of these things. Like I was saying, like these. Streaming is just another step towards not, they don't want anyone to own anything. They always want people to rent stuff, right? Like it's just what it is. And because if you can rent, something to someone, they've got to continue to pay you forever. It's the same with computer software moving to subscription models, right? Like, if you don't sell the product, you only have a subscription model, then you can keep charging people forever. It's a long play. And
people forget about that $10 a month they got to spend.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting into
that's just so no, but it even goes into the whole thing we talked about the other week, Raph. Like when we were talking about how was it Universal Music or Universal Audio want to put on the
Universal Audio plugins? Yeah.
It's almost getting to the stage where if they put you on this service and you agree to their terms, if you complain about it, they can just take you off it.
Yeah.
And then you have nothing to complain about.
It. Like if everything's subscription, then they can
fucking end your subscription whenever you complain about it. Like
we'll just take it away then.
Yeah. And it's a scary thing.
But this is again where they can take stuff off the streaming platforms, like there's my favorite album from Black Tongue is not on YouTube Music.
Why?
I don't know why. It's on Spotify. But for one reason or another, it's just not on YouTube Music.
Okay.
It used to be.
That's a weird one.
It used to be because I've got songs in my library that I've liked. And I try and play them, and they can't be played.
Oh.
And this is why
Mm.
one of the things like this is one of the reasons that I was resistant to streaming services for such a long time. I was like, no, 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 I'll just, I'll buy it, you know, like at least with buying something, if I buy it off the iTunes store, it's a digital thing, whatever. Like I download it, I'll convert it to MP3 rather than Apple's proprietary format. Then it exists as a separate thing. So even if it gets pulled off the iTunes store and they try and pull it from my library, I still have a copy somewhere.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine the amount of great EPs and albums that I've bought at
Why do you
fucking
think?
shows that will never get
Yeah,
released on Spotify.
why do you think they take? Why do you think they took the um, SD card expansions out of phones? So they can sell you just limit. And I realize that the storage in phones is now quite significant. But like when I've got a music library that's 300 gigabytes, like
Yeah,
you know,
bro.
you know, how can I fit it on a? How can I fit my music library on my phone along with everything else?
I film
Mm.
videos and edit them on the fly on my phone. 128 gig ain't a fucking enough.
Exactly.
128 gig ain't enough.
Yeah.
Like at all.
They
On
take
any
they
day.
take it out. And they take it out, so that means that then when they release the new phones, which by the way, I'd be very curious to see what the smallest storage size in phones has been trending at over the last while, because most of them now, for the last several generations, the smallest storage size has been 128
Yeah,
gigabytes.
that's what it
Now,
is. That's your
now
baseline.
when you look at the fact that you can take a micro SD card the size of my fingernail on my pinky finger, and whether it's 64 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes, or 512 gigabytes, it's physically the same size. They should all be 512 minimum.
Yeah, 100%. Should be like a
So how
PC.
are they going to make money, Dan?
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, no, you
They make the basic model 128, and then they charge you 3 times as much to get the bigger one.
yeah, with the SD card.
Hmm.
It's disgusting.
Like rather than just letting someone, rather than letting me go and buy an SD card from somewhere else, and then all my money's gone to some other company instead.
Samsung used to be good with that shit. They used to let you put whatever you want in it, and then they took it away.
Yeah, exactly. It's all so we're on the conspiracy shit again. Well, not conspiracy. It's true. It's not a conspiracy if it's
No,
true.
it is true. It
Uh,
is true.
it's
It
not a
is true.
conspiracy. It's true. Sorry, I should say I'm on my socialist communist bullshit again.
Man, okay. So I got so when I film with two cameras. I've got a 360 cam and I've got a thing on a gimbal. Real nice. I can get 9 hours of 4K footage, 30 frames a second on one of those cameras. On a 256 gig memory card. The size of your fingernail.
Mm.
They cannot be doing this shit. It is a joke. It is a joke what they're doing. Because it can't be
It's
that
almost
hard.
like it's a joke that they're
I-
selling cheese for like $20.
You know what's really funny though is I can foresee a point where, and I know you can kind of like download some of your streaming library already to listen offline, but it's strictly through the app. So like,
Hmm.
I can download a bunch of songs from YouTube Music so I can listen to them offline, but I can only listen to them in the YouTube Music app. I can't listen to them in
Yeah.
any other app or device, right? Um, like
If your app
don't-
goes
I don't
tits
see,
up, I can't listen to it anymore.
I don't see it being that long until they want to charge extra for that,
Yeah.
and then you'll start seeing like. And the other thing as well that I think we've been the one thing I will say when it comes to music streaming is we are very lucky that all the platforms have all the stuff for the most
Well,
part.
they've got no choice now, do they?
But look at video streaming. Video streaming is very segregated. Like if something's on Netflix, it's not on Stan or
Yeah, that's true.
binge or whatever. Like, can you
Yeah,
imagine?
yeah.
Can you imagine if they'd done that with music?
Oh,
So like,
Raph,
so,
shut
so for
up.
example,
You're gonna give the
I'm
record
gonna give them
labels
ideas.
ideas.
Um,
Shut up.
like, you know,
You can only listen to metal on
no, but
Roadrunner streaming service.
this is what I mean. Like, it's. I would not be fucking surprised, right, if we're a few years away from like Roadrunner setting up their own thing and EMI setting up their own one, and it's like EMI, you can they have all their artists on their streaming platform, and they charge everyone else extra to get those on the other platforms,
Oh,
right?
you
Like,
told
or
them.
they just take
Yeah,
it off
or
their.
like, or Spotify
You,
will just do Spotify Metal, Spotify Podcast,
You know
Spotify.
what? I would be
Hey,
fucking happy with that. I would be happy if
I
Spotify.
wouldn't.
I would
I
be
don't.
no.
I
I would be
wouldn't.
happy if Spotify of that because at least I know all my money would be going to fucking that.
I
Because
it
at
always
least
has
if I
to be
went,
upfront.
I only listen. I only listen to Spotify Metal. I don't want any of my money that I pay for
It's not.
going
That
to.
wouldn't work that way. Though it'd just go into the big pool the same way it does now.
Yeah, but we can
but they're
think.
just splitting it up into little
They
segments so
would
they
just
can just
they would just have
Mm,
you more in your
charge
bubble
people
of only
more.
metal, and you
it
wouldn't
just
discover
yeah.
Yeah.
music without
We all know Drake and Taylor Swift get all the money, and Rihanna and Beyonce. You get all the Spotify monies, Illuminati's.
That's it. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to join the Illuminati so one of my bands can get
Mm.
popular.
My mum, back when she was single, she hooked up with a guy from the Stone Masons. Like, what would I have been if she stayed with him? Not this cool.
Well, my my great grandfather was a Freemason, so I could probably piggyback off that if I really wanted to join.
Dude, what are we doing? Just go. Go, we can be famous.
We'll get
We
yeah, sorry,
do.
yeah.
We do.
People, yeah. Joe Rogan will have to change his logo because it'll be too close to ours then.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it. We'll beat Joe Rogan.
oh my god. Right. Well, so you mentioned obviously, Acid Cherry is working on some stuff, and we, working on some songs and recording and writing there, and with some gigs and everything. And we talked about, as we said, that show on May the 9th, which is today. If you're watching when this goes live, if not, it's already in the past. Is there any other gigs that are coming up that you can tell us about that people should be aware of?
Yes. So we've got, oh my goodness, bear with me. Let me get my, I think, oh my, I did this last time actually, when you asked, what other gigs do you have? And I was like, let me get my calendar.
Everyone
Uh,
does.
we're organized in this house.
I'm
We've got
digging those
one
headphones.
in,
Yeah, they are very cool
They are very
headphones.
cute.
they're so obnoxious and I love it.
I want to get the.
No, I think my next step is getting one of the
Jewel.
sets of Caddy headphones that has like the light
Yeah,
up,
the Razer ones.
the Razer ones.
Yeah, I want them too on the black Razer ones with little cat LEDs on the top. Maybe
Yeah.
dog ones.
Yes.
Maybe I
Oh,
want pug
slay.
ones. I
That
want
would be
pug
iconic.
ones.
So we do have June 8th at the Sunny Coast at Precinct, and I'm fairly sure Crave are playing that as well.
Oh,
Nice double
nice.
whammy.
That is stacked
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, Crave, Ancient Remains are on there too. Yeah, a few
That
good
is
bands actually.
stacked. That is a mad. Oh, I gotta move to Queensland.
Mm.
You do. You really do.
I can't. There's so many good Sydney bands. I have to look. You go up there, and I go down here. That's how we do it.
Well,
If
we
we
know
both,
this happens. You,
if we
you
bo-
move here, and I'll move this desk back into the middle of the room.
yeah, but if I
put a
move to
camera
Queensland, a
like
whole
you both.
shtick is gone because then we can't cover both states.
That's true. That's true. I suppose. That's true. Right. So yes, you're talking about those two gigs coming up. In
That's
June.
mad. Ancient
That's really, really
Remains,
good.
Crave, Acid Cherry. Where's that at?
It's a little venue called the Precinct. I think it's fairly new. In the
Ooh,
Sunny Coast.
nice.
Cool. Let me just check that one out. Actually,
That's mad. Because
Yeah, it's a cute little venue actually.
Crave have been very busy lately.
Oh, I know, it's
Crazy.
sick.
They're disgustingly busy. They're so busy.
Yeah.
Anything else after that? So that's June.
That's June. We are playing for someone's birthday party on June 1st at the back room, but
Oh,
I don't think that's
nice.
obvious. That's obviously a private thing.
That's all right.
And I do feel like there was something else that I'm missing. Maybe not.
Well, either way, that's
Not
a
right
stack
now.
that's a stack lineup for June. Ancient
Well, look, like we
Remains,
always say,
Crave, Acid
go and
Cherry.
follow all the
That's
socials. Go and follow all the socials is the key thing. Go and follow Cherry on TikTok. You get that good value on TikTok there because they got the pros doing it now. You got the
yeah.
pros help now, so
And not just
that's
that, you can
guaranteed.
catch up
all
with all the
content on
the other
there.
20,000 awesome, or the 100,000 awesome people that have just listened to
Yeah,
Acid Cherry. Get amongst it.
absolutely, absolutely.
You want to have a really good laugh though, is if you do go on the TikTok, the one that went viral, is because the title of the TikTok, we were obviously just being like sarcastic with it, and the title is our guitarist trying to play Everlong on drums, in brackets, she's better than our drummer. Nick wrote it, being our drummer, ironically, hilarious. But all of the comments, I think this is why this went so viral. Everyone's taking it at face value. So there's so many comments that are like, there was one that we saw that was like, this is why women just shouldn't do things, and like
Oh,
Uh,
fuck.
fucking getting flamed in the comments by these kids. And it's like, any
Okay.
exposure is good exposure, I guess. Whatever.
Okay. As a person that helps people try and create content, this is what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to do another one of those videos, right? But then afterwards, here's your video for content for TikTok. I want you to go through and read all of those comments from those people live.
yeah, so you make a video.
So
Of
sit down and make a video of you reading out those comments about how fucking stupid they are.
How honestly, we find it hilarious. We find it's like we just laugh at them. Like
Yeah, no,
just
no,
picturing these little
but you
little
should
like 13-year-old boys haven't hit puberty yet, just like on
exactly.
the phone.
You should read all of those. That is content for days. I
That's a good
guarantee
idea,
you
actually.
those will go
Yeah.
viral. I
What is it?
guarantee.
Like on one of those late shows, right, where celebrities read mean tweets about themselves.
100%.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Actually, I'm gonna pitch that to Keely.
Yes.
Read our mean comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Read
And
the
Our
mean
drink while you're doing it.
misogynistic comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it.
Have a
Do it.
smoke,
Do
have a
it. Do it. Do
drink.
it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
I think
all
that
right.
And then
that
I'm
would be
gonna do. I'm gonna do a reaction on my channel of you doing
so
those.
yeah,
Reaction to the reaction.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and check. Do I? I don't know if I follow you guys on TikTok. I'm sure I do, but let me see.
Oh, the band. The
Maybe.
band.
Yeah, I am
Pipeline.
following.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they noticed. They noticed. They were like, "Oh, you guy from Two Dudes Talk Music follows." So I'm like, that's
yeah,
bad. They're very
yeah. I
good.
saw they came in my profile and shit. So there we go. Oh yeah. There we go. 4.7 million.
How funny is it?
Yeah, 100% do that. I would love to see that content of prepubescent teenagers just going, "Oh, women can't
Yeah.
do this stuff."
But that's
Yeah,
like
like
you
some
know,
of
is it? It's like what is it? Is you know who is it? Ringo was the drummer for the Beatles, was it?
Yeah.
You know, Ringo's not even the best. Is Ringo a good drummer? Ringo's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. Like, no, that's
what was that? You remember the Family Guy episode? Nobody wants to be Peter Chris, Lois.
not even Peter Chris.
Nobody,
Yeah,
not even Peter Chris wants to be Peter Chris, Lois.
yeah. Right.
Oh,
Well,
drummers
make
are
sure
so
you get out
important.
there. Make sure you get out there and follow Acid Cherry on all of the socials so that you can keep up with what's happening. Because as I've said many times, like I firmly believe that Acid Cherry is going to be the kind of band that is going to make an impact on the Aussie music business.
Oh, it doesn't matter. When they
and
conquer America,
that-
everyone will be going, "Oh, we loved them for ages."
and in the long, like you want to be able to say you want to be able to say you were there at the start. So
Like and
like
subscribe and be the first one to like the video so you can say you were there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you should totally do that too.
Digital footprint. Digital footprint.
Yes, thousand times yes. Right. Well, thank you so much. I know you've taken quite a bit of time to talk to us over the last little while there, so we very much appreciate you chatting to us about both of your bands over the last couple of weeks. It means a lot to us that you are willing to
Does.
take the time to talk to us about that, and you know, like we anything that we, as you know, anything that we can do to help what you guys are doing is, we're more than happy to do it because that's
Yeah,
what
we're behind you 110%.
yeah. Like we are about trying to support like bands, not because we feel that bands need our support, but because we want to still contribute to these discussions and these conversations in any way that
Mm.
we can and stay engaged with it because it's the whole reason we do the podcast and the fact that we get
Yeah.
to, you know, encounter so many incredible bands and chat to them in the way that we've been able to chat to you. So thank you so much for spending this time with us over the last little while. Anytime you got stuff coming up, shoot it our way, right? Like we'll make sure we try and share it out. And yeah, for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, like we said, all that good stuff. Thank you very much to Brooke for joining us. Thank you to my co-host Kyle.
Thank you,
I've
Raph.
been Raph, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.